Good evening, and welcome to Having a Drink with Mink. I'm your host, Jason Mink, and tonight... Oh, sorry. I don't know what came over me there for a moment. Welcome to Having a Drink with Mink. I'm your host, Jason Mink. We've got a lot to get to, so we're going to get right to it. If you were here last week, you'll recall my good friend Darren Nesbitt. I mentioned him. He had passed away. Darren was a fantastic fellow, a wonderful dude. He was a toy collector as well, and when he passed, he ensured that a small portion of his toy collection came my way. I'm going to show you a few things right now, starting with Darren himself. Can I get a close-up, Larry? This is a custom MEGO made of Darren many years ago by one of his friends. Darren was a staple of Pittsburgh's South Side on the 1990s and the early aughts. He worked at Groovy Toy Emporium. It was a fantastic place to go for old toys, games, posters, any kind of retro stuff. It's very cool to be able to have it in my collection, a little something to remember him by. You may have noticed Bruce the Shark here. This is the Jaws game from, I think, 1976. I had this as a kid. It's very cool. He has little rubber bands that you put in his jaws, and then you reach in with a fish hook, and you pull out various bits of debris that he would have likely eaten over the years. Car engines, skeletons, you know, things like that, x-ray machines. It's pretty nifty, and if you... tickle the top of his head just a little too much, wham! His jaws come down and eat you, as they do. You're going to need a bigger boat. But I loved this toy as a kid. I would actually stuff my Megos in his mouth all the time. He's currently eating a vintage Kenner Princess Leia, but I don't know. She'll get out of it somehow. She always does. Next up, there's so many things on the table, I couldn't possibly tell you about all of them, but I am going to point out one more thing in particular. These are the Pepsi glasses. These things were available through fast food restaurants back in the early 1970s. This is from the Warner Brothers series. We got Porky Pig in all his glory there. Got a little jacket and a hat. No pants. 100% pork. Except no substitute, folks. Next up we got, oh, Varmint, it's Yosemite Sam! He hates that rabbit. And then here's one slightly more obscure. It's Beaky Buzzard. How awesome is this guy? I think I remember him. Can't quite say for sure. I might have to go on the YouTubes later and see if I can find Beaky's appearance. And then... here's the Batman glass. Now, I've shown you my collection of these before. It's a small collection. At the moment, I just have Supergirl and Captain Marvel, but I'll be adding this to the collection. Whenever I would go over to Darren's, I would make myself beverages in this glass right here. We would sit down, we would watch a few movies, play the YouTube game, and just generally have a good time. So it's cool to be able to have this in the collection. Here. Cheers to you, buddy. There's nothing in there, so I'll drink out of this glass. All right. What next? Well, so much more, let me tell you. Hold on to your seats, folks. I was talking about MEGO just a few moments ago. There are new MEGOs in the store right now. Company came back a few years ago, and they're really firing on all cylinders. We have the Creature of the Black Lagoon. Now, he is brand new. If you're lucky, you can find him in stores right now. Or you can order him from a number of reputable online retailers. This is a phenomenal figure. As a kid, I would have been head over heels for this guy. All right, so we'll put him right there, just to ensure that he doesn't fall over, in the course of our next segment, and that is, of course, recent finds. All right, right off the bat, we have candy number 4. This is a really cool book. This is a cover by Harry Sale. This is a teen humor book in the vein of Archie. I had never heard of it before, but I just really was captivated by that little logo design. How nifty is that? Very, very cool. And when I got it home, I read it, and I got a real kick out of it as well. Maybe we'll take a look at this at Comics for Breakfast, if I can find some way of scanning it without actually completely detaching it from its cover. And I hadn't noticed this the first time, but I want to point it out right now. It's a U.S. Royal with his jet-propelled bike foiling the lunatic's revenge. Next up, you always remember your first love. Here we have First Love, and my scandal-smeared love. Ugh. That's an Al Avison cover. Pretty cool. I enjoy these romance comics for their kitsch value. They used to be fairly affordable, but now kind of through the roof, unfortunately. But you can still find beta readers, good beta readers, in the form of, hey, we got some Archies. Got a nice little run of Archies here. We're going to clip right through these. I like this one in particular because you get this little cameo by these two characters. Who are they? What's their story? Hat Girl and Green Book Lady. You know, maybe they should get their own comic. Boy, I should write my repartee out ahead of time, huh? Next up, Archie, how come you kiss every girl who wears a chain belt? It's called a chain reaction, Betty. Actually, Betty, it's because I'm a repeat offender, and I should be in jail for my crimes. But somehow that Archie, they keep letting him out. I don't know why. And we have a nice little beach cover here. Archie being derelict in his duties as a lifeguard. Next up, what do we have? It's Archie's jokes. What does Reggie's swimming pool have that mine doesn't have? 2 blondes, 2 brunettes, and 1 redhead. Wow. Way to pull 'em, Reggie. And we have a Madhouse Annual. Nice Madhouse Annual number 5. It's got a small chip out of it, but for $1, well, you know, I would be remiss in leaving this beauty behind. That's for sure. Just for this back cover advertisement alone. Next up, we got, there's a nice pap for you. And the kids are having a spy party. I spy Jughead having a little gold finger punch. Let's hope he washed that finger before he made it. Next up, less said about that, the better. Then we have Pep. Archie and Veronica, they can't wait to get away from the crowd. Little do they know, the crowd is pretty much everywhere, folks. At least they used to be. Remember that? Remember when you would go outside and see people and the world wasn't a At any rate, then we have, there's another Reggie and Me. Reggie and Me? That's right. I make a surprising cameo appearance. And then here we have this wonderful little laugh cover. And we have all the kids, including Sabrina, wearing some truly ginchy black and white prison pajamas. And then wrapping things up, I was able to get this nice little book for 99 cents. It's Mad from July of 1966. And we're going to wrap things up with 13 covers. That's right, the 13 covers this week. 13 Daredevil covers you just don't see all that often. And we're going to start off with Daredevil number 30, guest starring the mighty Thor. Next up, we have another Gene Colan cover. And, wow, check this dude out. Daredevil never had the best rogues gallery, but they were certainly colorful. And, man, this guy loves his job, at any rate. And then we're going to wrap up the Gene Colan trilogy with this one. And maybe you see this one a little more often than not, but I felt that I just had to show it because it's so very cool. It echoes, I think it was Daredevil number 9. And it's a nice little tribute. Follow that up. It's very moody. Next up, what do we have here? Oh, we have Daredevil number 73, and this was by Marie Severin. And here's Daredevil slugging it out with the Zodiac alongside Iron Man. Pretty awesome. Then we have what would eventually become a Daredevil trope, and that's Daredevil falling out of the sky. This guy always seemed to be falling out of the sky, like every other issue. And this one was by Gil Kane and Frank Giacola. Then what do we have here? Daredevil number 98. Daredevil and the Black Widow. Now, I'm not sure when Black Widow started co-starring with Daredevil, but this is very close to when that happened. My notes tell me this is a George Tuska cover. And then we have, what next? Daredevil number 113. And when I first bought this book, I couldn't quite tell if someone had drawn those red circles on there with pen or not. It looked as though someone had gotten their spirograph out and gotten creative with this comic, but no, apparently those red circles are on every issue. It's a very striking cover from John Romita and Frankie. Then we have, who's next? Some more Gil Kane magic. That's right, and that's pretty slick. It's featuring the Black Widow and El Jaguar and Blackwing. This guy flying around on a giant bat. Have to see what that's all about in a future breakfast. And I quite like this one as well. I think I remember seeing this advertised back in the day in the pages of Marvel Comics. This is 130. This is by Rick Buckler and Klaus Janson. That's right. Klaus Janson would soon go on to make quite the name for himself on the Daredevil title. You know it. Then this one, very cool, Daredevil 145 by our own Al Milgrom. And Dave Cockrum as well did the finishing on this, and that's very, very cool. Very striking, very iconic. Next up, what do we have here? It's Frank Miller's Daredevil number 189. Very iconic cover, and this is a book that actually survived from my teenage collection. One of very few. So nice to be able to feature it here. And then we're going to wrap things up with this excellent annual. That's right, Daredevil Annual number 4. Gil Kane and Klaus Janson bring it in with Daredevil versus the Black Panther and Namor, the Submariner. And I'd have to say that I could not possibly pass this book up on a newsstand. No siree, Bob. Those Titans at it again. Huh? What is it about New York and its piers? Seems like they just attract trouble. Well, thank you for joining us on this very special episode of Having a Drink with Mink. I'm your host, Jason Mink, and I hope to see you this Sunday. Comics for breakfast.